From Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, this is the news at 10, live from Channels Television. Reported tonight,
Bimbo Oloide.
Hello and welcome. Tonight, the Emir of Kano, Ado Bayero, dies. Thousands of sympathizers throng the palace as he's buried. President Jonathan commiserates with the royal house over the death of the monarch. A faction of Nigerian Governors Forum holds its retreat in Port Harcourt. Members agree to improve their service to Nigerians. And the UNHCR is concerned over the rising number of migrants drowning in the Mediterranean Sea.
On business news tonight, federal government to raise 70 billion naira in 3- and 10-year bonds at an auction next week.
And on sports news tonight, pride is at stake as defending champion Rafa Nadal sets up a much-awaited French Open showdown final against bitter rival Novak Djokovic.
We begin tonight with the report of the passage of the Emir of Kano, who was buried earlier today according to Islamic rites. Alhaji Ado Bayero is one of the longest-serving rulers in the history of the Emirates, having ascended the throne on October the 22nd, 1963, at the age of 33. Thousands of people turned out for the Emir's funeral, who died today at the age of 83.
Thousands of sympathizers thronged the palace of the Emir of Kano. Those who could not get a place in the open field within the Emir's palace perched on nearby story buildings, all in a bid to catch a glimpse and feel the pulse of activity. These ones struggle for a chance to witness as they scale the fence.
Every one of us knows that there is time limit. God who creates, He has given each and every one of us this time that when it comes, He has to die. So it is the time for His Highness, and the Almighty Allah has taken His. And we pray, may the Almighty Allah forgive him and give him Jannatul Firdaus.
The Vice President Namadi Sambo, former Head of State Muhammadu Buhari, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, and Kano State Governor Rabiu Kwakwanso all came to pay their last respects. Most of them lost in the huge crowd, but former CBN Governor and a member of the Royal House, Sanusi Lamido Sanusi, were also there.
Meanwhile, the President has sent his condolences to the Ado Bayero family and the people of Kano over the death of the Emir. President Goodluck Jonathan said the news was received with immense sadness and a feeling of national loss. He said the monarch will always be remembered by the people of Kano and all Nigerians for his immense wisdom and competence, as well as for using his exalted throne to build bridges of unity, friendship and harmony across the nation. Alhaji Ado Bayero may have ascended the throne of Kano Emirate at a relatively young age, but he has surely made a mark on the nation's landscape. As a first-class traditional ruler, he avoided politics, strove to ensure religious harmony in his domain, and was a renowned opponent of the Boko Haram sect. This special report examines some of the significant moments of his reign.
The late Emir of Kano was one of the most revered religious and traditional leaders in the country, particularly among the Muslim faithful. Having been on the throne for over half a century, since 1963, Alhaji Ado Bayero is on record the longest-serving monarch of the ancient emirate. He'll mostly be remembered for his efforts at promoting peace between Muslims and Christians in Kano. Following the rise of the Boko Haram insurgency in the north, Alhaji Ado Bayero was one of the sect's most outspoken critics. However, it was shock and disbelief that greeted news of a murderous attack on the emir's convoy by some gunmen suspected to be Boko Haram militants on February the 19th last year. The armed men on motorbikes and in a car ambushed his motorcade as he returned from a Quranic recitation ceremony at a mosque and shot dead his guards and driver. Although he escaped unhurt, the 82-year-old monarch was flown abroad for routine medical checkup. Indeed, the late Emir of Kano is one of a number of northern traditional rulers targeted by the sect, including the Shehu of Borno and the Emir of Fika in Yobe State between July and August last year. Last week, the Emir of Goza in Borno State was killed in an attack on his convoy by suspected Boko Haram gunmen. The attack on the Emir of Kano, however, rendered the insurgents so unpopular in Kano that their bloody activities were reduced to almost zero. Alhaji Ado Bayero survived his ordeal and lived for over a year before finally passing on peacefully at the age of 83. He'll be remembered as a bridge builder across the religious divide. Charles Eruka, for Channels Television News.
The Department of State Security, DSS, has again declared wanted Rufai Abubakar Tsiga, also known as Dr. Tsiga, over the bomb blast that rocked a bus park in Nyanya, Federal Capital Territory, killing over 70 people. The DSS describes Mr. Tsiga as a 38-year-old indigene of Angwangabas in Bakori local government area of Katsina State in northwest Nigeria. Rufai Tsiga is said to have masterminded the Nyanya bomb explosion, and this is the second time the DSS will declare him wanted since the Nyanya incident, which occurred on May the 14th. The President of Sierra Leone, Mr. Bai Koroma, has held talks with President Goodluck Jonathan in the presidential villa today. Both presidents went into a closed-door meeting, which lasted for over an hour. Speaking to journalists after the meeting, President Koroma described the visit as a quick one, designed to sympathize with President Jonathan on the abduction of over 200 schoolgirls by terrorists.
This is not an issue for Nigeria alone. We must come in and identify ourselves with the problems that are now ongoing here. We believe strongly that with the position Nigeria is enjoying as the largest economy in Africa, and the fact that 1 out of every 4 Africans is a Nigerian, issues like this happening to Nigeria are issues that will affect the whole of Africa. And it is time for us to come together as Africans. It is time for us to come together as West Africans to work with Nigeria to address these menaces occurring in Nigeria. The ECOWAS have just had a meeting.
Meanwhile, the campaigners calling for the release of the Chibok girls have urged the presidency to think of how to resolve the insecurity challenge bedeviling the nation rather than politicizing the matter. The group today faltered the comments by the president that peace is prevailing only in states governed by members of the ruling party, the People's Democratic Party, PDP.
People in the position of leadership should be very careful about their statements. When you see the president of a country saying he's happy about a situation because he's not in the state where the ruling party is a question. It's a very worrisome development when we see our leaders reacting in such manner. I would like to call on the president and his spokespeople to caution their manner of speak, because this is something that is very sensitive. It's very worrisome.
The military has defended its confiscation and destruction of copies of the Leadership, Punch and Nation newspapers in different parts of the country, describing the action as a routine security operation. The Director, Defense Information, Major General Chris Olukolade, in a statement explained that there was intelligence that materials with grave security implications were being moved around the country through newsprint-related materials. He added that the action had nothing to do with the content or operation of the respective media organizations. When the news at 10 returns, the trial of the Lagos speaker for money laundering resumes in Lagos. That's in a moment. Do stay with us.